sides. Allen, first ball hitting inside the left field line, into the corner. Around third to score comes Ochoa, and standing up with a double at second base and a run batted in, Angelina Allen. Allen came into the ballgame the leading. Ranchez comes in hitting .289. Sheck delivers, and this pitch is going to be hit to center field. It hit well against the fence. Allen being waved home. She will come home, able to stand up, and 3 doubles in a row for the Cyclones to get things started this afternoon against Abby Sheck, and it's quickly a 2-0 Iowa State lead. Friday, Saturday, Sunday to wrap up the regular season. 2-2 pitch, and it's hit hard to right field, and it's going to be in the gap and go against the fence. 1 run will score. Being held up at third base is Ashley Miner, and it's the 4th double in the first inning for the Cyclones as Tatum Johnson drives in a run and makes it 3-0 Iowa State. 3-0 Iowa State, and the Bulldogs looking for their first out here in the top of the first inning. It's low and away, gets away from the catcher. That's going to allow Miner to come home and score the 4th run of the first inning. Wild pitch against Sheck, and that will move Johnson over to third base. And they count 2 balls and no strikes to Spellhog. Make it 1 ball and 1 strike. According to the home plate umpire, Michael Hers. That pitch off the fist and hit State here in the first. 1-2 to Spellhog. Popped up. Gloved by Leitner, the first baseman for the Bulldogs. That is the first out of the ball game.
Another great challenge for them. Drake's played a number of teams that have been ranked throughout the year as well.
Lewis bobbles but recovers in time to throw out Poole, and Johnson scores from third to make it a 5-0 ball game.
Into today's game, Drake a little behind him at 138 out of 307 teams.
Lewis bobbles it, recovers, throws, not in time. Error on the Bulldogs' second baseman, Destiny Lewis. And that will bring the 9th batter to the plate here in this first inning, Olivia Wardlow.
Second baseman number 30, Olivia Wardlow.
Wardlow batting .297. Couple of doubles, 7 runs driven in. This is a team that steals a lot of bases, too. They've been very successful, 43 out of 50 stolen bases this season. Hit right back to the mound, trying to come up with it, but unable to do so is Sheck. And runners are at first and second on an error on the pitcher.
That would be her 22nd extra base hit of the season.
Pops this one up into center. There to make the catch is Michaela Rice to end the inning. However, the Cyclones come up with 5 runs in the first inning on 4 base hits, 2 Bulldog errors.
4-15 away from Ames. And the chopper right back to Johnson. She'll flip over to Spellhog for out number 1 as the speedy Rice is just gunned down at first base. So welcome win. Bulldogs sitting in 10th place in the Missouri Valley Conference. And the 4th ball goes by for Rita, and that's a base on balls by Johnson. That puts a run. Rita with a base on balls and a 3-1 hitter's pitch coming to Emma Dighton.
And you can almost read the mind of Jamie Pinkerton, the Cyclones head coach, and Kate Sinnott, their pitching coach. When you got a 5-run lead,
Johnson delivers, chopper to the right side. Coming up with his Wardlaw, flips over to Ranchez, and they get the middle runner and the second out at the second base. Early pitch for Johnson here, the payoff pitch with runners on base. Chopper back to Johnson on 1 hop over to Spellhog, and the Cyclones close the door on the Bulldogs here in the first as 2 balls and 1 strike, the offering for Sheck. Allens lifts it to left field on the run. Heidi Wheeler in left field comes in to make the catch at her shoestrings. Alicia Ranchez, the batter, quickly swings at first offering. Lewis underneath it makes the catch at second base, and quickly 2 outs, and getting outs is what Bulldogs struggled with in the first, but they're getting Sheck ahead, checking with Her catcher Koenig on the signals. And this is going to be lifted to left field down the line. Wheeler has a chance, makes the catch, and runs into the fence.
What a catch.
Fantastic grab. And down go the Cyclones in order as Sheck retires the side here in the top of the second. Leitner's 28 RBI tied for team high with Destiny Lewis. A drive off Johnson. It bounces to first base. And Spellhog is there to place the tag. Tough luck bounce for Leitner, and a tough luck.
This non-conference game is an opportunity to maybe get Tatum right for postseason play.
And Koenig quickly gets down to first base. So the Bulldogs with a one-out runner on first will be facing off. That could be a run-scoring machine weekend. Oh, and the ball gets away from Knowles, and quickly down to second base will be Koenig. So Bulldogs with a runner in scoring position on the pass ball. That ball's low, so a base on balls for Rigby. And that'll be her 9th walk of the season. Bat of the year. Chopper, slow roller. Johnson charges, throws the Spellhog in time. But Wheeler's able to move the runners, Koenig and Rigby, over to third and second base.
Number 32, Michaela Rice.
But Rice lifts the ball to right field. Poole coming in down the line, makes the catch, and retires the scoring threat for the Bulldogs as they strand two. And run production was down, and Jamie Sheck settles in for the third inning for the Bulldogs, and she faces her counterpart Johnson, who quickly jumps on the first pitch and grounds out to the right side for out number 1 for the Cyclones. RBI double back in the first, lifts this one, and again it's Lewis at second base with her second put out of the half inning. 21 RBI for Tiana Poole. Last year she had 47 starts, and she keeps adding to that total here as she finds herself down. As you said, this Cyclone squad does like to run, and they're very good at it, at picking their spots. But deep fly ball on the run as Wheeler on the track makes the catch for out number 3 and closes the door on the top. No hits, no runs, but issuing 4 walks for the Bulldogs. And this chopper gets by Johnson, and that could be a base hit for Frankie Rita. Good piece of hitting, and Johnson's knocked a. And we'll see if Johnson takes something off this next one. Nope, she comes right back at her. Charging is going to be Wardlaw, and she'll get the lead runner and a flip over to Minor, or to Ranchez. Martin with 10 extra base hits on the season. This chopper is going to go to Ranchez. And the flip by Wardlaw over to first base, not in time, as Martin will get the fielder's choice.
Central part of the state from Indian Hills, now at Drake.
And slaps it to the right side. On the run is going to be Martin over to second base as a hard hit single to right field by Destiny Lewis.
Avoid that situation here.
And Leitner here's the chance to add to her RBI tally. The chopper over to Sanchez, though, will retire Leitner at first base. And the Bulldogs again leave.
Yes, she has really done a fine job of settling down.
Wardlaw on board via an error back in the first. And she'll drive the ball to center field. And Rice on the run comes in and quickly makes the catch for out number 1. We were talking during the break, Larry, the Bulldogs are leaving runners
each base and 4 of them with doubles. That's how you open most of that lead. This ball is well hit.
And deep fly ball. Rigby tracks it down by Ochoa. Ochoa now the top of the order for the Cyclones. She had 2 at-bats back in the first, including 30 extra base hits on the season. Cyclone slugger off the plate, charging as Lewis flips out of the glove to Leitner.
Wow.
And just gets Allen at first base in time, and a big smile by Leitner as she heads to the dugout. Lineup here to change that, and Carrie Koenig And quick hit, driven hard, deep to center field over the wall. And on the run was Ochoa. She thought she had a play, and that ball just carried for Koenig.
And that was exactly straight away center field, deepest part of the ballpark, and she really rocketed it.
Career high 4th home run for Carrie Koenig.
You think of the weather in California that they grew up in, and then coming back to Ames, Iowa to play softball in March. I mean, that's quite a commitment they have made.
And they're not all Northern California kids
No, they're
either.
not. Changes for the Cyclones we'll get to in a moment. New catcher as well. Camille Marin behind the plate right now.
And a first batter strikeout. And the Bulldogs slugger over the reach of Miner at third, and Rice aboard with a single. And that pushes Lynch over to third base. So far, pretty well.
Yeah, having to convert from facing a right-hander to a left-hander.
And Rita coaxes the 4-pitch walk. Her second base on balls of the game, or of the year. Drives it through the infield. Coming in to score is Lynch. On the run is Rice, sliding safely. And a 2-run single for Emma Dighton. We talked earlier, Larry, about not getting timely hits. And that clock is starting to tick for the Bulldogs.
It certainly has. Runs batted in 21 and 22 for Emma Dighton this season.
And Dighton just drives the ball through the infield. And we said there was speed on the base paths, and both Lynch and Rice come in to score for the Bulldogs. So and well hit ball by Martin to left center field. On the run is Allen over the wall. A 3-run bomb vaults the Bulldogs out to a 6-5 lead here in the bottom of the 4th. On the Bulldogs with 5 in the first, and Bulldogs have erupted here in the 4th for 6, and Lewis is trying to keep it rolling. Deep fly, center field over the wall. The team leading 8th home run of the year.
And the 3rd home run in this inning for the Bulldogs.
And Destiny Lewis touches home.
In this inning, in this at bat.
And that is the big one for out number 2, as Leitner shares some knowledge.
On March the 29th.
And Koenig says, let's make it 8. Deep fly ball over the wall. Carrie Koenig, a 2-home run inning for Carrie Koenig. She's had her 4th and 5th home runs of the season, and she touches home with a big smile on her face.
How about the timing of Dave Schindler to point out 7 runs had been the most in an inning prior to the 8th run scoring for the Bulldogs.
Timing is everything, and Koenig had her timing down on that one, and you see a smile starting to pile up here too.
And Koenig's second home run came on an 11-pitch at bat, or 10-pitch at bat.
And Rigby, her 3rd base on balls of the game, trots down to first base.
It certainly is. And a tough opponent comes in over the weekend. Belmont will be here for a 5 o'clock game on Friday, 2 o'clock Saturday, noon on Sunday.
Chopper, Spellhog there at first base, steps on the bag.
Come back from that.
Alicia Ranchez, the batter for the Cyclones, lifts the ball to right field. Rugby on the run.
Wow.
Makes the catch. We've had a catch at the left field fence and a catch at the right field fence for the Bulldogs. They really need to shut the door. The Cyclones with one out with a runner on. And a drive that goes to center field by Johnson. And that's going to put 2 runners on as Johnson hit the ball.
Last year.
But nice to have that notched in her belt.
Yes, absolutely.
Ball hit hard to center field. Rice on the run. A 2-3-run blast by Carly Spellhog. Larry, we're knotted up at 8 apiece.
Unbelievable offensive show in this one, isn't it?
And boy, what a shot by Spellhog to left center field. And you'll see the extension of her arms and drive it hard to left center.
Her 7th home run of the year and her run batted in total now goes to 22.
And Spellhog among the...
Thinking, what did I say? Look at this one.
Is it ever going to get here? And it landed where? And Richards comes back strong and gets the strikeout for her first out. And the slow spinner into home plate, and it's popped up by Marin. And that's out number 3. So Richards comes in, shuts down the Cyclones, but we leave. And chopper right through the box to Charles, and she'll flip over to Spellhog for out number 1. And Rita, the first hit of the game for Drake. Back in the 3rd. And she's going to lift the ball. Shallow right field on the run is going to be Poole. And that ball's going to drop in front of Poole for a 1-out single. For Charles. Inside, no. Called 3rd strike on the edge of the plate for out number 2.
It's a tough call, wasn't it?
Theme there as well.
Yes, indeed. Oh, in high school, not only was she first team All-State basketball 4 years, same in volleyball. It's that one hard.
Drive. Ranchez knocks it down, stays with it, flips to Wardlaw, and gets Rita at second base by an eyelash. The Cyclones close the door on the 5th for Drake. Jamie Scheck left the game 4 1/3 innings pitched as this ball's lifted to left field. Going back and making the great overhand catch is going to be Rita.
That's just another a number of defensive gems.
Falls behind 1 ball, 2 strikes on Richards. And line drive just out of the reach of Rita, poked into left field, so leadoff or 1-out runner aboard for the Cyclones.
And
Minor waiting on deck. And a base on balls issued by Richards, her first walk of the game.
Tough situation here, 1st and 2nd, 1 out, and
that one's going to get away from Koenig. That'll be a wild pitch. That ball goes straight to the wall, and everybody advances 1 base on the miscue by Richard. Off-speed pitch hit to center field. Rice on the run makes the catch, and it was shallow enough. Ochoa at 3rd had to hold, and what a break for the Bulldogs as that ball was in the outfield, but shallow enough the runner couldn't advance.
and by able to
To come back with the same pitch. Off-speed off the glove of Koenig. And just sliding in safely is going to be Ochoa, and the Cyclones take the lead. But Larry, on that slide, she almost stopped before home plate.
yeah, and she never really did slid, actually. She just went in standing up.
Here's a good replay of her, but see if we can see her foot at home plate. It stops just
She
before
did
the
slide,
plate.
didn't she just got up quickly. Pop-up slide. She just got in.
But she catches the front. Infield again, even with the 1st and 3rd base. Off-speed strikeout pitch by Richards. And the Bulldogs shut the door, but the Cyclones before her season came to a close. Lewis behind 1 and 2 and goes down as a strike. Hammer as the home squad in a game like this that has gone back and forth. But oh boy. Ralston's coming in and she's sitting him down. Leitner goes down by. Oh, and Koenig goes down. 1, 2, 3 go the Bulldogs here in the bottom of the 6th as Ralston shuts the door on the streaky Bulldogs. We go to the top of the 7th, 7 RBI, so she's knocking on the door. In fact, she has 8 RBI, so tied it earlier this game as she's going to get a pass down to first base. So leadoff runner aboard for the Cyclones.
Few, as we mentioned, only 4 Iowans on the Iowa State roster.
And a spinner up the middle, fielded cleanly by Rita, and that's saying quite a bit with the way that ball is spinning through the infield.
And it's a wet ball. It was a really nice.
Central Florida coming into Ames to end their season. And on the run down from first base, oh, and Koenig throws the ball into center field. And the Bulldogs are throwing the ball around, and finally Dighton gets control of it. But Spellhog will get all.
There's a long ago tradition.
Yes. And foul tip held by Koenig for strikeout. And Zender goes down for out number as Dighton gets the 3rd strikeout of the day for the Bulldogs. And line drive, but there is Martin at the 3rd base at the hot corner. And she shuts down the Cyclones as they put a bagel up here. Former Bulldog catcher, now right fielder, drives the ball to the shortstop. Ochoa comes up throwing and gets Rigby at first base as she makes her first out of the game.
Around the block.
The 0-2 down the line. Spellhog there to step on first base for out number 2. Oh, that could have had extra bases all over it if it gotten by Spellhog.
Yes, it could have. So 5 up and 5 down for Ralston, the 4th pitcher for the Cyclones.
Down low, Rice gets away from her for a 2-out base on balls. The first walk issued by Ralston today on the Bulldogs' Rita. Chopper to the left side, gets by Minor. Ochoa can't make the play, so big moment for Emma Dighton in the Bulldog uniform. Right here, big swing, strikeout, and that will do it as the Bulldogs fall 1 run short of the Cyclones. But Larry, overall in this game, what an outburst in the 1st, an outburst in the 4th. What a seesaw battle.
Oh, absolutely. The Cyclones putting their first 5 hitters on base, 4 of them with doubles, that early 5-0 lead.
It was. So for Larry Leonard, I'm Kevin Croft saying so long from Des Moines, Iowa, where the final score is Iowa State 9 and Drake 8. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.